Good evening, everybody. This is your favorite aspiring classicist here, a wandering author, reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives. As always, my message remains the same: spend less, live more, earn your freedom with reality. And tonight, I've got a question for you. Have you ever been, hanging out with somebody and just wondered, man, what is your deal? Why are we friends at all? Well, Aristotle has had some of those same feelings, and that's what he's going over in chapter 9. What is friendship all about, really? Like, what are the objects of friendship? Well, this is what Aristotle has to say about that. The objects and personal relationships with which friendship is concerned appear, as was said at the outset, and he did mention it in Book 1, to be the same as those which are the sphere of justice. For in every partnership we find mutual rights of some sort, and also friendly feeling. One notes that shipmates and fellow soldiers speak of each other as "my friend," and so in fact do the partners in any joint undertaking, even partnerships, like in corporations, But their friendship is limited to the extent of their association in their common business, for so also are their mutual rights as associates. Again, the proverb says, "Friends' goods are common property," and this is correct, since community is the essence of friendship. Brothers have all things in common, and so do members of a comradeship, which, to stop here, a comradeship is kind of like a guild or a trade association, but they had them back in Athens where Aristotle lived, and they called them comradeships. So if he says comrade, he's not talking about like Red Revolution comrade, he's talking about like members of a trade association. Other friends hold special possessions in common, more or fewer in different cases, inasmuch as friendships vary in degree. The claims of justice also differ in different relationships. The mutual rights of parents and children are not the same as those between brothers. The obligations of members of a comradeship are not the same as those of fellow citizens, and similarly with the other forms of friendship. Injustice, therefore, also is differently constituted in each of these relationships. Wrong is increasingly serious in proportion as it is done to a nearer friend. So, if you hurt somebody that's really close to you, then it is worse than if you do exactly the same thing to a complete stranger. Even though they're both wrong, one of them is wrong-er, and that is the one you're doing to somebody that's close to you. For example, it is more shocking to defraud a comrade of money than a fellow citizen, or to refuse aid to a brother than to do so to a stranger. So if your brother asks you for help, you're probably going to help him, but if a stranger asks you for help, how do you know if they are actually not just trying to scam you or something? Or to strike one's father than to strike anybody else. Similarly, it is natural that the claims of justice also should increase with the nearness of the friendship, since friendship and justice exist between the same persons and are coextensive in range. But all associations are parts, as it were, of the association of the state. Travelers, for instance, associate together for some advantage, namely to procure some of their necessary supplies. But the political association, too, it is believed, was originally formed and continues to be maintained for the advantage of its members. The aim of lawgivers is the good of the community, and justice is sometimes defined as that which is to the common advantage. Thus, the other associations aim at some particular advantage. For example, sailors seek to combine to seek the profits of seafaring in the way of trade. Comrades in arms, the gains of warfare, their aim being plunder or victory over the enemy, or the capture of a city. And similarly, the members of a tribe or parish combine to perform sacrifices and hold festivals in connection with them, thereby both paying honor to the gods and providing pleasant holidays for themselves. For it may be noticed that sacrifices and festivals of ancient origin take place after harvest, being in fact harvest festivals. This is because that was the season of the year at which people had most leisure. All these associations then appear to be parts of the association of the state, and the limited friendships which we reviewed will correspond to the limited associations from which they spring. And then in this next chapter, which we'll go over tomorrow, he's going to start discussing the different kinds of constitutions that exist and the perversions of them, like which are degraded or denatured versions of kingships devolve into tyrannies, and timocracies or republics devolve into democracies. And Aristotle doesn't like direct democracy. They use just the word democracy. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. What are y'all doing in order to inspire, uplift, and empower your local community today? Because this world isn't changing unless we all do our part, and you can count on me to do mine daily. Until next time, I love y'all.